ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम नायम मंत्र नंबर 3। नायमात्मा प्रवचनेन लभ्यः नायमात्मा प्रवचनेन लभ्यः न मेधया न बहुना श्रुतेन न मेधया न बहुना श्रुतेन यमेवैष वृणुते तस्यैष लभ्यः यमेवैष वृणुते तस्यैष लभ्यः तस्यैष यमेवैष वृणुते तेन लभ्यः यमेवैष वृणुते तेन लभ्यः तस्यैष विवृणुते तनों स्वाम तस्यैष आत्मा विवृणुते तनों स्वाम। Yesterday we saw what are the means of gaining the self. Here it looks like there is an apparent contradiction. Teacher seems to be negating certain known means. We keep hearing this vakya, swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditam. Whereas here he says, na pravachanena labhyaha, na medhaya labhyaha, na bahuna shrutena labhyaha. You cannot gain the self by pravachana. What does pravachana mean? We have seen. The meaning of the word pravachana is Veda, Shastra, Swadhyaya, Bahulyena. Some people commit to the studies of Vedas. The Medha, some people commit to memory. They like to memorize. There is a value for memory. That's how we, as I said, we were taught. Shastra is a Shruti. You have to listen and remember. Listen and remember. Those days there was no paper and no soft copies available. No hard drives and hard drives and pen drives were available. You had to just memorize not only mantras but the bhashyas and tikas also. Imagine 1 lakh shlokas of Mahabharata is available to us because they memorized. All Ramayana with 25,000 shlokas available because they memorized. More than that, Vedic mantras. Those Sanskrit shlokas becomes mantras because revealed by the Lord. As it was revealed by Lord himself to the rishis millions of years ago, they are available to us as it was revealed today with swaras. It is not simply memorizing the words, memorizing the swara and pronouncing them properly. Vedic swaras are different vowels. It is not simple vowels. Udatta, Anudatta, etc. Shukla Yajurved swara, Krishna Yajurved swaras, then Samaveda swaras are different. All that is available as it is, because there is value to commit to Medha. And people committed themselves to Medha. And therefore, he says, simply by committing Medha is useful. Shastra Swadhyaya is useful. Na pravachanena medhaya, na bahuda shrutena. There was a value to study. This is a country where there was a lot of respect for scholarship. Vidwan sarvatra pujyate. The most, even today in Indian psyche, even in villages, simple primary teacher is most respected because he is Vidwan compared to all the fellows residing in a given village. So there was a value for knowledge. When it says bahuna shrutena, by studying various scriptures, becoming scholar in various disciplines of knowledge, you cannot get up. None of them can create a dent. None of them can create a small hole in ignorance. Atma is to be gained by removal of ignorance. And none of these are the means for removal of ignorance. They have no opposition to ignorance. You may be a Chaturvedi. All four Vedas, the fellow can rattle it out. Maybe a great Karmakanda Pandita, like Hastamalakacharya, or a Sureshwaracharya, who was then the most scholar available on that time on the earth about Vedas. But then, or you may memorize all the Shastras. As they say, there are Shatavadanis. Shatavadanis mean Dashavadani, Shatavadani. That make 100 people sit in a round. Each one asks any question. He takes 100 questions at a time. And in the same sequence, he answers the 100 people. Maybe Shatavadani. So what? This or Bahuna Shruten. You may be Shat Shastra Vidwan. No? Shat Darshan, Nyaya, Tarka, Chanda, Jyotish, Vyakaran, all that you may be. And if I use the Puja Swamiji's words, you may be a Nobel laureate, double Nobel laureate, so scholar, but then you continue to be ignorant. Only for ignorant person, he had a word, idiot. So he was stupid idiot, now little knowledgeable idiot. But idiotness continues in the person. That's what the Tatparya is. What is the means for removal of ignorance? Please remember, yesterday I have mentioned that we are not denouncing the Pravachana, Veda Shastra Adhyayana. We are not denouncing the memory. We are not negating study of various Shastras, which is sometimes in a way necessary for even individual. Medha Shakti is to some extent necessary. But what we are trying to convey, Shastra Shruti is conveying is, they are all secondary means, primary means is knowledge. Okay? Pakasya vannivadnanam vina moksho na siddhati. Only knowledge is a means. But this knowledge being peculiar, because ignorance is peculiar. To gain the knowledge, you have to prepare the ground. You need certain preparation. And that preparation being the first step, the primary step or the beginning. Therefore, Shruti says that if you have this step, then you gain the self. What does it say? Yame vaisha vrunute tena labhyaha. One who chooses the self. Yam atmanam eshaha vrunute. Yesterday, I explained to you what is Varanam. English word doesn't have that deeper meaning which Varanam has. All of us Indian know Swayamvara, Draupadi Swayamvara, Sita Swayamvara. That is Varanam. The woman chooses. But in Swayamvara, so many kings are invited. And when she is introduced to all those fellows, often the lady or the woman has decided whom to marry. He looks at so many people around over there, but when it comes to offering and committing to one person, she offers that Varamala to only and only one person at the exclusion of everyone else. So choosing Atma, what does it mean? I want self at the exclusion of everything else. Okay? Understand? As Puja Swamiji would say, mokshecha is not a desire in a way. Is not a choice in a way, both sets. You don't choose moksha because it is choiceless. You don't desire for it in a way. Why? There is a difference, basic difference in the category of moksha ichha and all other ichha. All other desires are desires for anatma. You desire for something which you don't have, or you desire to improvise something which you have. You have money, but I want more money. You have car, but I want a better car. You have power, but I want a little more power. Or I don't have and therefore I want. Apraptasya prapti arthe, praptasya rakshanarthe evam vriddhi arthe. Either you aspire something which you don't have, or you desire to see that what I have should remain with me, and I want something more. This is desire. Generally, all desires are like that. The irony is, here, moksha is nitya prapti. You desire for something which you already have. So, in a way, it is not a desire. As Puja Swami, Swami would say, he said he had a story for it, this to convey this point, his own made-up story. So this fellow did tapas and propitiated Bhagavan, and Bhagavan came and he said, ask for food, whatever, thy wish will be fulfilled. Ask what you want. And this fellow says, oh Bhagavan, give me a head over a shoulder. He said, give me a head over a shoulder. Some people are so great, they can confuse Bhagavan also. The Sarvagna Bhagavan got confused. He had a doubt about himself. Is it I am falling short of hearing or what? What did you say? He asked him again. The Bhagavan who is Antaryami, without telling him, he reads your heart. That's what you do in the temple. You do prayers and you express your wish silently, mentally. And Bhagavan hears. That's why mannats are fulfilled. That Bhagavan is put it to doubt. What did I hear? Say again, what do you want? He said, sir, give me a head over a shoulder. Bhagavan said, you want double decker? He said, no. I want a head over a shoulder. He said, do you want back and front heads? So people don't know which side, right? You are moving front or back. You can look both the sides. No, I want a head over a shoulder. He said, you want left or right? I didn't say, I just want a head over a shoulder. You want to become a Brahma? He says, no, I just say I want a head over a shoulder. Bhagavan was confused, and after some time it clicked him. He said, oh, now I realize. You want something inside the head which is already there with you. The point is, the thing that I have, I don't desire for it. Nobody desires for that. For which the thing that you already have, you can desire something which you don't have with you. So mokshecha or atmecha is not a desire in a way. Further, the Shruti says, if you choose Atma, if you want Atma, then Atma reveals itself to you. This itself is also in a way contradictory. Yesterday I told this point and left the lecture, completed the lecture. Each one of us, though we say there are fourfold Purusharthas, we say there are four things: Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. But a person who is seeking Dharma, person who is seeking Kama, person who is seeking Moksha, Artha, he is seeking Moksha only. What is Moksha? Moksha means freedom. Each one of us from day one, from birth onwards, want freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from limitations. Freedom from unhappiness. Freedom from helplessness. Freedom from sense of insufficiency, which is felt from day one. People say, when they grow up, how nice it would be if we again become a child. But I remember, as a child, I was not happy. I always felt that I am being controlled. I always felt that I am being ruled. I always felt that I am being dictated. I wanted to eat a toffee. No, you had eaten one. Shut up. No second. From there onwards, I want to go out. No, you cannot go out alone. I want to cross the road. No, you cannot cross the road alone. Hold my hand. Helplessness, dependency. That is felt from day one. Dukkha nivritti. Sukha prapti eva ekameva purushartha. Whether Hindu or non-Hindu, all other religion, as Swami used to say, they are tourism promotional fellows. Like when you see the brochure of even Ahmedabad, when they release a brochure, Ahmedabad, Rajkot, Surat, and when I see that brochure, I wonder, am I living in the same city? It's so beautiful. They depict it so nicely, as if it's one of the best cities to live with. Similarly, the talk of heaven. Even I remember other day in Toronto, I told somebody, hey, you have this, I want to say, Swami, it is there. But the brochure is so enchanting. That fellow himself didn't know. He was in Toronto for the last 40 years. I told him in 2019 when I visited last, before COVID. So brochure is always enchanting. They promise you heaven, eternal dinner, or hurrays, all kinds of imagination they provide. Tourism promotion, that is Sukha Prapti. And Dukha Nivrutti. The limitations that I feel here, hereafter will not be. It is only and only and only, I repeat thrice, our Vedas, our wisdom of Rishis tell you that you are always free. Purnaha. Purnamadam, Purnamidam. You are full Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam, Brahma. You Tadeva Ahamasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. You are limitless. You are Ananda. Anando Brahmeti Bhajanat. Anandat Deva Khalvimani Bhutani Jaya. That is you. So moksha is to be gained right now and here. As you are free. Even if a sinner, apichedasi papebhya sarvebhya papakrittama, you are free. So each one is a mumukshu, understand, ultimately. It is exactly like a baby, doesn't know what I want, keeps crying. Mother knows, now it wants to sleep, it is tired. It is hungry, let me feed it. Similarly, if we need to analyze, we need to discern our fundamental urge, that what Yajnavalkya said to Maitreyi, na putrasya kamaya putrah priyo bhavati, na vittasya kamaya na vittam priyam bhavati, na patyuhu kamaya patih priyo bhavati, atmanastu kamaya sarvavidam priyam bhavati. What is pleasing is only because it momentarily gives me relief from sense of limitations and unhappiness, seem to provide me some happiness, therefore it is pleasing. It is the bottom line, as they say. So each one is mumukshu. Why then Shruti says, one who chooses moksha will gain moksha? Idea is you have to discern that I want this. The baby needs to discern that I am tired. Mere crying will not solve the problem of fatigue. Similarly, to discern, that is called viveka. And when there is a viveka, there is a vairagya. The other side of the coin of viveka, vairagya. Vairagya doesn't mean giving up the things and running away and having some kind of ill feelings. Vairagya means clarity about what I am doing and what I want. I want all these achievements, none of them could give me permanent happiness, and therefore I don't want. They are not bad. I don't look down upon them. They are not useful to me, full stop. Or the right way is that things and situations and people are useful just to transact the business of day-to-day life. Vyavahararthe. You need food. I need to eat the food. This machine requires some fuel. So I need to eat food. That's all. But to expect that food give me permanent happiness, that's a pipe dream. That is true with relationship. That is true with possession. That is true with money. That clarity is dispassion. Dispassion is not an action. Dispassion is wisdom. Clarity. And then that varnam, as I said yesterday, has to be converted. The person who is a mumukshu, who has withdrawn from the known pursuits, gives up the pursuits of money and relationships and socializing and pleasures and etc., that's a very gullible person. That person can get hooked to anything and everything, beginning from Asana meditation onwards to bhajan and yatra and chanting. It's a Walmart, spiritual Walmart. Conversion of a mumukshu into jignasu, that is called varanam. That's the beauty of the tradition. That's the beauty of Indian culture. When you grow up in this culture, traditional culture, you understand. Like Arjuna didn't ask, Bhagavan, teach me some bhajan. Bhagavan, teach me some meditation. Bhagavan, do some Shakti path. Should I do yatra? Should I have darshan? No, nothing. Yat shreyas syat nishchitam bruhi. Understood the problem is of ignorance. Only and only the self-knowledge will cook the goose of ahankara and therefore give me atmagnan. The desirous of knowing is jignasu, and the desire is the, though in a general term, but in a spiritual word, a spiritual jargon, when I say jignasu, means one who is seeking self-knowledge, one who wants to study Upanishad, one who wants to study Bhagavad Gita, who wants to study Vedanta from a teacher. Means when you choose Atma, you choose teacher as well. Yame vaisha vrunute. Choosing the teacher means you surrender to teacher, like Arjuna, who treated Krishna as a friend, philosopher, guide, and brother-in-law, and cousin, etc. When he discovered him what he is, he apologizes. Ahara vihara shayyasana bhojaneshu yatcha. While sleeping, sitting together, I might have made fun of you. Please excuse me. Now I surrender. Shishyasteham shadhimam prapanna. Discovering teacher means surrendering to teacher and readiness to serve. All goes in varna. One who chooses the self against the self means one who chooses a proper teacher. Why you need a proper teacher? And who is a proper teacher? Understand that we have seen in this Upanishad itself, of course, long ago, but then I will remind you that a teacher, which in the first chapter he said, Tad Vijnanartham Gurumeva Vigachet Samitpanihi Shrotriyam Brahmanishta. You need a Shrotriya Brahmanishta teacher. This is a problem with Hindus. Today's Hindus' problem is this. Some of them are self-seeker, Atmadipo. And most of them, some of them go to some teacher, but this basic thing they don't know. It is not something that I need to study. There's a guru banana. Idiot. Banana nahi hai, shishya banna hai. Automatically wo guru. But the another idiot doesn't know kiska shishya banna. Aajkal bahut sare gurudev ghumte. Everybody is a gurudev. Everybody is a Maharshi, Brahmarshi, etc., etc. Useless. The Guru is the one who teaches Shastra. This is a typical of Hindu problem. There's all these Ram Rahim and Asaram and company. They censored Shastra. They didn't believe in Bhagwan. They made themselves as Bhagwan. Never taught Gita and Upanishad. Still they had followers in millions. As a seeker, you should know what to seek in a teacher. Rajneesh became Bhagwan. Hindu society is so dumb. These are they think he is a great guru because he has a great ashram, big ashram. He is a great guru because rich fellows and politicians come to him. He is a great guru because he has a number of followers. These are all useless. These are not the criteria for becoming a guru. You have to see tapas. You have to see vairag. You have to see his vidya, knowledge and some devotion. Not how many devotees are there. Not how many followers on YouTube and Facebook and WhatsApp, my channel and blah, blah, blah. Now in their visiting card, they give 4 or 5 social medias and they claim, I have 2 million followers and 7 million followers and blah, blah. All this nonsense, rubbish. The fellow may not have a single follower. Just because you have 7 million followers, you don't become you don't qualify to be a guru. Just because Prime Minister came and you know this fellow and that's a Chief Minister came for inauguration and such and a big businessman came for me, such and a celebrity film star came and I interviewed. Nonsense. It's all rubbish. Teacher is the one who teaches Shastra. Why you need Shastra also, please understand. These scriptures are in the form of words. You need to handle them properly. I have discussed this a month and a half ago. It is the implied meanings of the words. Lakshyartha is to be communicated. Please understand, Atma or Brahman is not like any object outside available for perception. Though we have a word, for every word there is a corresponding object. When I say pen, there is a pen. When I say mobile, there is a mobile. When I say car, there is a car. When I say table, there is a table. When I say book, there is a book. Where is Brahman? It is not one of the things, it is everything. And at the same time, it is none of them. Sarva bhutastamatmanam sarva bhutani chat. Bhuta brunnacha bhutastha mamatma bhuta bhava. That so-called everything, it is like gold. If you have 100,000 ornaments out of gold, you have chains and bangles and rings and earrings and foot rings, etc. But there is no one of gold, is not one of them. You don't say, I am finding gold in it. You can't find it. Gold is everything. But at the same time, gold is nothing. Gold is gold. You can't say gold is chain. But chain is gold, all right. Bangle is gold, all right. Ring is gold, all right. It cannot stand apart from the gold. Therefore, it is gold. But gold can be without being chain or being bangle. So it's a very peculiar vastu. Similarly, there is no Brahman. And all these stupid fellows say, our Guruji saw Brahman in Samadhi. Nonsense. What do you see Brahman? Who is the seer itself? Himself is a Brahman. Seen is Brahman, seeing is Brahman. And hearing is Brahman, smelling is Brahman, walking is Brahman, talking is Brahman, hereafter, everything is Brahman. Where is the question of seeing Brahman as an object? It is the subject. So you need a teacher to convey this. Yame Vaisha Gurunute. One who chooses a proper teacher. One who surrenders to this. Vurunam means not just simply choosing Atma. Now I have chosen Atma. It doesn't work that way. It implies going to a teacher, proper teacher, studying to a teacher with proper attitude of Shraddha, readiness to serve, and studying all ancillary satellite things, Shastras that you ought to study. You need to know Vyakaranam somewhat. You need to know somewhat Vedas. You need to do certain Tarka Nyaya, etc. All that goes in Varanam. Not simply, I want moksha. These are all Western. I am a seeker of moksha. What seeker of moksha? This Varanam means surrendering to a competent teacher and studying a Shastra. Then, Yame Vaisha Prunute, Tena Labhyaha. He gains Atma. Again, this is a contradictory. Atma is a Nitya Prapta. How do you say gains Atma? It is only one thing which you can never gain, that is yourself. Atma means I. I is looking for I. How can you say I gained I? It is all available. To clarify that, the second half of the line is there. Tasesha vivrunute tanum swa. To him, self reveals itself. Self is swata siddha. Self is self-revealing. To reveal this particular object, you need the agency of the eyes. You need the agency of the mind to see, Swamiji, you have in your hand a mobile phone. Now to reveal, you say, Swamiji, you have a napkin in your hand. You can say, Swamiji, you have wristwatch in your hand. To reveal the taste, you need tongue. But to reveal I, without eyes, without tongue, without ears, you know I am. Aham Swata Siddha. That is called Chaitanya. Self-revealing, self-existing consciousness. Then where is the question of revealing? The revelation is that self-existing, self-revealing consciousness, Chidananda Rupa, is discovered to be Param Brahma Jagat Karana. That I is self-revealing, is self-existing. Without I, no existence can be proven. But that I is construed to be out of ignorance as an individual, one among many, that too insignificant one among many. I'm a small little fellow. More so, if you see the galaxy, you feel you are non-entity little, not even worthy to be called as a microbes. The whole earth becomes what? Whole earth. Our whole solar system is like a microbe. No. I, the consciousness, is Jagat Karanam Brahma. Tasmad va etasmad atmanah akashas sambhutah akashad vayuh vayoragnihi agnerapah adbhyah prithvi prithvyam oshadayah oshadibhyo annam annat purusha. That I, the consciousness, is substratum of what all is, was, and will be. It is like that small little wave in a Pacific Ocean, small little wave in Atlantic Ocean. This big ocean is connecting the continent. The whole wave is so insignificant. When it discovers itself that I am H2O, the water, I am substratum of all the waves. All the waves rise in me, they survive in me, exist in me, and they dissolve in me. As a consciousness, I am that. That is called revealing the self. Self reveals itself, means the fellow discovers it himself or herself to be Brahman. Means when you have a competent teacher and when you have a proper attitude to study, that in terms of Shraddha, in terms of Sharanagati, you just can't escape this wisdom. Like even when your nose is not blocked and there is a fragrance outside near Jhopalpatti, you can't escape the smell. It has to happen. Tasyaisha vivrunute tanam swam. The self reveals itself then. Teacher continues further. What is the means and what are not the means? Look at the mantra number 4. Next mantra. Nayamatma balahinena labhyah. Nayamatma balahinena labhyah. Nacha pramadat tapaso vapyalingat. Nacha pramadat tapaso vapyalingat. Etairupayair yatate yastu vidvan. Etairupayair yatate yastu vidvan. Tasyaisha atma vishate brahmadhama. Tasyaisha atma vishate brahmadhama. Nayamatma balahinena labhyah. Nacha pramadat tapaso vapilingat. Nayamatma balahinena labhyah. Nacha pramadat vapya tapas. Nacha pramadat tapaso vapyalingat. Etairupayair yatate yastu vidvan. Tasyaisha atma vishate brahmadhama. Etairupayair yatate yastu vidvan. Tasyaisha atma vishate brahmadhama. Tasya Atma Brahmadhama Vishute. That his self will enter into Brahmadhama. Means he will gain Brahman. We'll see, understand the meaning of it. There is no entry. First of all, entry is possible in something which is away from you. When you say Brahman is all pervasive, when is the question of entry? In India, there is a popular belief, such and such a devotee entered into Bhagavan. Sadehe Pravesha. They entered physically. They say Mira movie, they entered physically into Krishna. Then Tulsidas physically entered to Rama. It's a good to hear, it's a good fantasy. It's very enchanting fantasy. But by saying this, we are belittling Bhagavan. If Bhagavan, forget about Brahman, if Bhagavan, and they say our Bhagavan is all pervasive. If it is all pervasive, where is the question of entry? When you say I entered into Bhagavan, means I was away from Bhagavan. That means Bhagavan is limited. It cannot be limited. It is minus me. And that everybody says, minus me. So Bhagavan becomes one of the little fellow. You cannot enter into space. You are in the space. How can you enter into the space? It is all pervasive. So it is not entry. I'll explain further. He says, I am Atma, this self. This self means the self which is right there, you. Self means I. The I is not gained, labhya na labhyaha balahinena. One who doesn't have balam, strength. One who doesn't have strength, he doesn't gain Atma. Na pramada. You cannot gain Atma by pramada. Pramada means slothfulness. Pramada means omissions. Pramada means indifference. I'll explain all this. Just see the translation. You cannot gain it by pramada, by being slothful, by indifferent. You have to be alert. Nacha alingat tapasa. Tapas not accompanied by linga means sannyasa. Without sannyasa ashrama, you cannot gain, even if you do tapas. I will explain this how. But then, etaihi upaihi yaha yatate vidva. The wise who endures with this means, his Atma enters the Brahmadham. See, this is where you need a teacher. This is where you need tradition. This is where you need to see the implied meanings of the Vakyas. This is where you need to know the holistic meaning of the Shastra. All these English fellows just looked at it and literally translated it. The translation doesn't help you. Even if you are a scholar in Sanskrit, it doesn't help you to see the things. You have to see through and through the whole blessed thing. We'll see one by one. Balahine. Bala means strength. Bala means power. The one who is strengthless cannot gain the Atma. That doesn't mean one who has a strength will gain the Atma. There are varieties of balam. Physical balam. Money power. Money is also balam. Connection power is also balam. I know so-and-so minister is supposed to balam. So-and-so minister. Relation power is also power. Position is balam. Varieties of balam. None of this balam, the one who doesn't have balam cannot gain the Atma. That doesn't mean you should have money and you should have power, and you should have position, you should have connection, you should have relation. Then you get Atma. No, both are wrong. What kind of balam Shruti is talking about? You have to be balavan to gain Atma. You have to gain the strength to know the Atma. Again, the question comes, what kind of strength do I need to have? And I just said all these balams won't work. Listen to this. Only one balam you need. A weak person was always held by a strong person. A weak person comes under the sway of a strong person. A person who is physically weak, and suppose there is a don in the street in the same society, he is held by this don. Whatever don says, he has to do. Don decides now only my cars will be parked in the street. All of you should park outside. They will go by that dictate. So you are dictated by the strong. You are held captive by the strong. A moneyed man will have a sway over the person who is poor. And if he wants money or he has a value for money, he will be held by him. So, what kind of balam? Similarly, each one of us are held by something within us. Each one of us come under the sway of something which is there within us. Each one of us seem to be dictated, guided, led, ordered by something that is within us. What it is? It is our likes and dislikes. It is our values. It is our emotional problems. It is our unconscious. It is, as in some known jargon, if I say, it is our vasanas and samskaras. The person is dictated by led by likes and dislikes. They create a pressure in himself or herself. Pressure over here. The pressure is so much that he or she himself or herself don't like it. Knowing fully well I am doing improper and wrong thing, but becomes helpless. Arjuna found himself like that. He said this in the 3rd chapter. Atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha. Prompted by whom this human being commits to sin. And second line, anichannapi varshme. Even though he or she doesn't wish to do, baladiva niyojita, as though forcefully somebody makes him do at a gunpoint. That is our likes and dislikes. That is our emotional problem. People often quote Duryodhana. I would like to inform you another example. Dhritarashtra is also a classic case like that. He himself, while dividing the kingdom, hereditary kingdom, when Pandavas came back after winning over Draupadi and claimed the right, kingdom originally belonged to Yudhishthira. Dhritarashtra tells this to Yudhishthira. My son is a rock. He will not let you rule here. He will not let you live here in peace. He will be creating problems. So I tell you, go away to Indraprastha. And please establish your kingdom far away from here. And be happy. emotional problems. Dhritarashtra knows this. Putra Sakti, pressure. Yudhishthira knew gambling is bad. By the way, some of you knows this or not, to play a game of dice, to gamble, is not a scriptural mandate for the kings. It was just a convention. Like our Indian marriages, nowadays they do, because this happened with one of the girl, and therefore I am quoting this. And she told me, when the groom comes for marriage, and their relatives will lift the groom. Generally, the man is taller, and this girl happened to be quite shorter than the boy. She was 7 inches shorter, but still they loved each other and they are still loving. It has taken almost 7 years for the marriage. So they are happily married, having 2 kids. So, and obviously in the boy's family, they were all tall fellows. They lifted him high. And this girl being short, and that too at the marriage, they wear typical sari and all that, which is very discomforting when somebody lifts them. Lifting also, but when they put down, it is very embarrassing sometimes. So this girl had already told his relatives, earlier, don't lift. When these fellows lifted the boy, she just stood like this. And they said, come on, offer the garland. She told him, do you want to marry? Come down. Otherwise, I'm going. He came down. And he bent his head. This is convention. It is not religious scriptural mandate. Gambling was convention. Yudhishthira could have denied it. Pressure to play. My brother will feel bad. And the idiot Yudhishthira went to play. Then Duryodhana puts a condition that Shakuni will throw the dice on my behalf of me. Still, that fellow agreed because of the chicken-heartedness for this cousin. The problems are often caused by our chicken-heartedness towards our relatives. No, my brother will feel bad, will bad. And they may put trouble to his wife all the time. And that idiot will take advantage of all this. He could have said then, okay, you have Shakuni, I'll call Krishna. Knowing fully well. And he lost everything except Draupadi. While he was going, Dhritarashtra felt ill. He called him and gave him back. Duryodhana made all tantrums. I use the word tantrums like a child to his father and threatened him, I'll commit suicide if you don't call him again. And he came. Emotional pressure. This is called balahina. To be objective in relationship. To be factual in relationship. Not to come under the sway of my likes and dislikes and my emotions. That's a strength. You may have strength, physical strength and monetary strength and political strength and power strength, any kind of power. Listen this carefully. You can become mighty, but you can never become almighty. It will always have limitations. You may win over the world like Ravana. The real Vijaya is to be master of your own mind. Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmana. Bandhur atmanasta atma, that 6th chapter verses, Bhagavan says, so balam is manojaya, not to fall prey to my fancies, not to fall prey to my emotional issues. I process my anxiety. I process my fear. I process my attachments. I process my worry. Everything. Not to fall prey. I live such an alert life that I don't let my unconscious dictate my responses to the world outside. That is balam. Okay? And for that, you need clarity. We'll see this tomorrow. Ultimate balam is knowledge. Knowledge gives clarity. And that makes you fearless. Athaso abhayam gato bhavati. The wise person or the self-knowledgeable person goes beyond fear. There is no fear whatsoever. Yamraja himself tells to Nachiketa, Mrutyur yasyopasechanam chakaitha veda yatra saha. I am a chutney for him. That's a real strength. That is the ultimate fear. Ultimate weakness is death. Ultimate fear is old age. Ultimate fear is helplessness. The wise person has discovered Mano buddhi hankar chittani naham. I am not the body, not the mind. I am consciousness. He becomes mrutyunjaya. Wins over. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. Nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya. I am free from birth and death. Fearlessness. For that, to be absolutely fearless, you have to be relatively fearless. And the relative fearlessness comes only when you become master of your own mind. Sadashva eva sarate. Tasendriyani vasyan. People say you have to control your senses. There is no control business. This is nonsense. Sense organs are reporter. It is a mind that has fancies, desires, which is pressure. You have to process that. You have to work upon that. If there is some physical ailment, they do physiotherapy, work upon and grow out of limitation. Unfortunately, people don't have time to work upon themselves, their own mind, that you have to work, and how, that we'll see tomorrow. It involves karma yoga. When you live a life of karma yoga, you gain mastery over your likes and dislikes. You are no more dictated by likes and dislikes. You know you are no more goaded by likes and dislikes. Your wisdom is never hijacked by your emotions or your unconscious. That is a strength. And unless you have that strength, you cannot know the self. Nayamatma balahinam labhya. Means balavan eva atmanam labhyate. One who is devoid of this strength cannot gain the self. That means one who has this strength, he or she can gain the self. I will explain this mantra and this particular point tomorrow. Means next class, not tomorrow, next Saturday. That happens to be 23rd. We'll see you. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.